Hey, what's up guys? Jamie here, and today we're talking about design smell number 3, which is the large class. Alright, and the large class is exactly what it sounds like. It's basically when a class, or like a class in Angular would be like a component. They are technically classes. If a class gets too big and too unwieldy, then it's kind of hard for new people to the project to understand what's going on, as well as add new things to that class. So let's say we have a class here. Class, my class. My class. Alright, and let's say that that's just defined like this. And up at the top, you have your data members like say my string that equals hello world, and so forth, whatever other variables you have defined at the top here. And then you also have your functions down here, like my function. Alright, whatever. And you've got a bunch more of those functions down here, right? So if there gets to be too much stuff in here, like too many variables, when someone is adding something to this class, like if they're adding a new function, or if they're adding another variable, or they're just simply trying to use this class in another class, or just even understand what's going on, if these things aren't unified and they're not all referring to like the purpose of my class, then it's going to be rather hard for that person, which could be you, to do that task, to understand it if you're coming back later and trying to understand it again, or to add some new function or use this in another class and so forth. And so the idea here is that if the class gets above around like, put around like 500 lines, 500 lines is like the maximum you really want to have your class. If it starts getting too high above that, then like I said, it's just kind of hard to navigate, hard to understand especially. And so so that's really how you identify it, is if it's greater than this 500 line number, just around there somewhere. If you find that you are smelling this design smell and it is above 500 lines, then what do? Well, you use the extract class action. So by extract class, I mean you just mark up some of these variables in here. You just identify certain ones which are not completely unified in the purpose of my class, and you extract them into a separate class. So let's say for instance, like these two instance variables right here, they don't really have anything to do with my class specifically. And then maybe like one of these functions, okay, we just take all those guys, all right, and we just put them in their own class over here. All right, a class with its own name, right, that describes what they're doing. All right, so that's the basic idea, is if your class gets too large, people won't be able to understand it, including yourself, even if you're the one that wrote it, which is always funny. And so if that happens, and like this will happen over time, like no one really intends for this to happen, like I said in the long method video, this just kind of accumulates over time. You find you need more and more features, so things start stacking up. And so it's good to kind of keep tabs on exactly, which of your classes are getting too big, and then if they get too big, past that 500 line mark, you just identify things that don't belong, because I would say almost never will you actually have a greater than 500 line class which actually has all of the instance variables and functions. They all pertain to the purpose of that class. Right, very rare that you would be able to accomplish that. So a great rule of thumb is if it gets greater than 500 lines of code, you simply identify things which could be categorized into their own class, and you just extract them out of this class, put them in their own class, and then use that other class in the place of this class whenever you needed it. Or maybe this class can even have a instance variable which is of type that class, right? So that could be another way of doing it. So just however you need to do that, just put it in its own class, and then your file will no longer have the large class design smell. Alright guys, so that's basically it for this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you seen any of this in your own code, in other people's code? What are your thoughts on it? Have you grappled with the large class design smell at all in your own experience? Alright, so leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you thought. Also, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. I'd appreciate that. Alright guys, and here's to writing better code. So cheers to that, guys. I love improving the code of the world. Hopefully you agree with this. 500 lines is kind of a rule of thumb that I just made up based on what I've seen in my decade of programming experience. Alright guys, that's it for the video, and I'll see you in the next one.